Hi everyone, this is Shiji again from Tidal Robotics. Today I'll be showing you how to run a few special tests in our flight stand software. To get started, I will show you how to set up a simple sine function with the import CSV feature. In our example Google Sheets, we have already generated the necessary values for a sine wave. As you can see, we have our time values incrementing by values of 1 on the left. Beside that, we have our converted radian values from taking the time values as degrees. Now, to generate a sine wave, we need to simply take our radian values and combine them with our amplitude, frequency, and offset values. As you may know, we simply take the sine of the frequency multiplied by the radian value times the amplitude plus the offset. This gives us a repeating sine wave in the range that we want. To export these values, we need to isolate just the time and ESC throttle values. To do this, I simply copied and pasted the values into a second sheet in this format. Note that you can now change the time intervals to whatever you'd like, apart from the frequency on the previous sheet. This will simply affect the number of steps you have in each cycle of the sine wave. Once you are happy with your time intervals, go ahead and export the spreadsheet as a CSV file. In the flight stand software, under Automatic Tests, click on Tools, then Import from CSV. Import the file that you just created. If you followed all the steps correctly, you should see a sine wave appear on your preview. We can now perform our test. Once the test is complete, we have the option to save our test. We can now view our test results in the Tests tab. For the chirp test, which is a sine wave with increasing frequency, we will make one simple modification to our equation to generate the sine wave. Next to the radian value, we will add an exponent term, the speedup term. In our case, we will use a value of 1.8. This means that the angular frequency will increase at a rate of 1.8 times the previous value. We repeat the steps from before to export the values into a CSV file, then uploaded it to the flight stand software. We should see a sine wave with increasing frequency in the preview. This is what it looks like when we run the test. Similar to the sine function, another popular test is the sawtooth. As you can imagine, this simply has the ESC accelerate and decelerate in a steady pattern. To set up the sawtooth pattern, we will use the sequence editor in the ramp test tab of the automatic controls. Here, we will add our time intervals, target, and rate of change. Once we have a sawtooth pattern in the preview, we are ready to perform our test. Note that the first sawtooth will be different due to the rest inertia of the propeller. Lastly, I will briefly go over an example in the Python API. This is a short script I wrote with some help from ChatGPT, and it will generate a sine wave based on these input parameters. After activating the ESC throttle in the manual control tab, we can execute the script. The flight stand will continue to operate in the sine pattern based on the parameters we set until we perform a keyboard interrupt in the terminal. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these types of videos, make sure to like and subscribe.